All right, so I think the first segment, Mike, you want to tee up the first segment of today?
Gladly. Today's first segment is going to be new things. So today we have Shamrock Shakes from McDonald's. John, why don't you take over?
All right, pass them out. Everyone grab a shake.
I didn't get the green memo.
It's a St. Patrick's Day episode.
I didn't. It didn't occur to me. As it is St. Patrick's Day, we're
Kline,
releasing this on
Jack,
St. Patrick's
please?
Day.
The Shamrock Shake is indeed delicious.
Oh, there we go. Kline already jumped in. Everyone try it.
It doesn't. It tastes less and less like anything but just a colored.
I mean, it's literally
milkshake.
just a vanilla milkshake, and then they
then
pump in like a mint flavor, like syrup.
I really don't think. I really don't think they're pumping in that. mint
It's just toothpaste and vanilla.
It's
it
crushed
truly,
toothpaste.
my toothpaste is mintier than this.
I think I'll give it a rating.
Oh, rating system?
Yep.
All right.
I rate this yum.
Oh, all right. Okay.
All right.
I rated a yum also. I get these every year.
Ew,
this
Jesus.
isn't new to me. Is this anyone's first time trying a Shamrock Shake?
No, it just gets, honestly, it gets worse. It gets worse. It's like the older you get. As a kid, you don't have like developed taste buds, so like everything tastes good. Like you could eat like shit and you're like, I remember shit tasting better when I was a kid.
Kline?
I think what the problem is I had bottomless mimosas this morning,
Yeah.
and now I'm drinking.
Everyone was vaccinated and tested, right?
Exactly. Yes. It
You have
just.
to talk into the microphone. But
I am talking into the microphone.
Kline?
I'm drinking knockoff Corona Trader Jose's, as well as the fact that
Racist.
I was very racist, as well as the fact that I was drinking, mimosas this morning. So I feel like my palate isn't really ready for a Shamrock Shake, but it just kind of took it head on.
How many times during this podcast is Kline going to drop that he, during COVID, went to get mimosas, but secondly, didn't invite any of us?
I agree. Also, how do you have
Okay.
like an advanced palate, but you look like you have this?
Don't point out my belly like that. That makes me self-conscious.
This is a food podcast, I think, at this point. There's nothing that is going to change my mind that this isn't just like a thinly veiled food podcast.
It's definitely just a vehicle for me to like have an excuse to go get like the novelty, like seasonal or like
An
new
eating
fast food item.
I think the thing is like Mike is just as terrible an eater as me and John. It's just the fact that he chain smokes cigarettes.
Love you, Mom.
Do you think your mom's gonna watch any of these?
No. She'll just be like, oh, that's nice, honey. She'll be like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I love Shamrock Shakes. Back to
Perfect transition. What a good segue, honestly.
dude, Shamrock Shakes. Was it on St. Patrick's Day or just like around St. Patrick's Day? We had to go to like 5 different McDonald's.
It was the day before. And that's what I mean about that's what I was going to bring up earlier when is that every year these continually seem less and less worth getting to, much less going to multiple locations worth it.
Yeah, it was nice that I only had to go to one place. They're definitely not at peak form right now, I will say, though, since I was here. Jack and Mike were an hour late to the recording, so they've been melting for an hour.
Someone moved my clocks back an hour. I thought I was early.
You were exactly an hour late, though, so I believe that.
I think if we're going to get the full experience of a of a St. Patrick's Day episode, we should go to.
You want to dox yourself?
we should go to Huntington Beach and go to a bar that's open for St. Patrick's
Yes,
Day.
baby.
Speaking of the first thing Kline asked me when I get here, he's like, "Have you been to any of the Huntington bars since they've opened up?"
We should go.
I have.
Just once or twice,
I
think I know why you guys have me sitting in the middle. I think I know why my seat was placed here.
Well, I wanted Kline to sit in the seat that Jack has, but I know that if he sat, he'd fucking break it in half. As would I, but I'm just saying.
Are
Jack
these
has-
his chairs?
Those are for
Yeah.
guests, but they do have weight limits on them. Those are for his fiance.
We thought you could perch on it, you know.
No, thank you. That's
Jack
very
probably
considerate.
weighs just as much as my fiance, who is 5'3".
And that's crazy because Jack is like 3'5". So
Just reverse the number.
I'm stocky. It's all the muscle, I'm telling you.
St. Patrick's Day episode, we tried the Shamrock Shakes. We're all dressed in green. Jack is
Except for Jack.
well, Jack is dressed up as a leprechaun, as he always is.
A leprechaun on his off day.
Jack actually tried to be a leprechaun, and they're like, we're looking for someone taller.
Taller than a leprechaun?
You're shorter than a leprechaun.
I'm shorter than a leprechaun.
Yeah.
Someone taller and someone who can grow facial hair.
Jack's shorts look like you're not fit to be in a Catholic school. Like they sent you home for the day.
I don't know. If it's a Catholic school in Boston, I don't think they'd turn me away.
Jack would have been able to get away from the priests in Spotlight because he would have just scurried in between the walls.
So I think making fun of Jack's outfit, that takes us right into our next segment, Mike.
Fit check.
Start with Jack since we're already on the topic.
Yeah, great.
So Jack, what's your fit today? He has a classic summer fit on.
Yeah.
Which I think this episode might come out mid-July, mid-August.
2021. Post-pandemic.
Also, it's abnormally cold today for me, so it's...
Why don't you wear your jacket?
I feel quite frankly, I feel ridiculous wearing it.
Do you feel ridiculous because it has a little picture of you on it? If you guys can't see the jacket.
Is that a Mickey Mouse jacket? Did you
Yeah,
buy
that's
that
a
at like a Disneyland?
Oh.
Hey, Disney is my thing.
Kline, you better check Susie's closet.
I live for free in a house that my fiance paid for, and she makes twice as much money as me. I feel like I should just throw all my cards on the table because it's going to be a long-standing joke as long as I'm a regular on this podcast.
We didn't mention that, but we are recording from a new location today. We're in Kline's fiance's house. All right, so what about Kline's fit? Let's go over it.
So this long sleeve T-shirt is a Celtics T-shirt signed by Marcus Smart. I was at a Celtics game in 2019 fighting off, I'm not exaggerating, children to get Marcus Smart to sign my T-shirt.
Are those bird socks too?
These are indeed Larry Bird stance socks that I bought circa 2015.
Those are the socks I taught. Avid watchers will know that on episode 1 I talked about those socks.
There is many holes in them because they are indeed almost 7 years old socks.
Old, yeah.
Good. Why don't you put the microphone down for a second? You've
Here you
been
go, Jack.
talking a lot. Anyway, on to me. Time to show off. I have to bring out the Celtics windbreaker. Got the black and green and white. New Balance X90s, green, yellow, gray.
Flexible.
And then
you're flexible.
Yeah, I am. A lot of fitting in crates as a kid to get around.
What?
I'm going to leave it as that.
Okay.
And then I got shout out to Sully's down in Boston.
You went all out for the St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, for nothing.
I got these red and gray Nike Dunks, UNLV colorway, University of Las Vegas. Shout out to Vince,
You think he watches this?
Yeah, I think he watches this.
He better. I listen to all his podcast episodes. Time to pay
better.
up, buddy. Time to pay the piper.
Shout out to DocuPod, right?
Doc plus pod.
Every time we've ever asked to be on his pod, he's laughed and then said nothing. So
yeah, let us on to talk about any documentary. The last documentary I watched was Joker hoodie. And then got the hat with the red and the gray, matching the kicks, This is my hat that I got as a child for being on the Santa Ana Northwest Little League City Championship Little League team.
What position did you play?
Right field or not playing.
Did you play left bench?
I wasn't very good, but I do have some good moments from being in Little League, I will say.
Like getting food after the game.
No, I was actually the hero on a couple of occasions, okay? I had a couple of
hero
game-winning
is in
hits.
sandwich.
Okay. I'm glad we all had a good laugh. Okay. No, I had the game-winning hit one time. I think on this team, it was like the first game of the season. This team is undefeated. has this team like
First game of the season undefeated.
no from like the team from the season before. This team had not lost a game, so we came into this season expecting to also be undefeated. Then the first game of the season, we're down by like 7 runs, and we end up fighting our way back. There's 2 outs, the bases are loaded, and I'm up to bat. I hit a single right through the shortstop and third baseman, scored 2 runs, we're up 1, and then we went to the next inning. The pitcher closed him out. We won the game.
I imagine this is like one of those situations in the early 2000 movie, the bench warmers, where your team was so bad that you had to hire an adult to be on your team.
No, I was the one who hit
the best team.
I was the one who hit the game-winning hit. What do you mean? This is like
That's
the bench
just like
warmers.
that's like what your parents told you.
No,
that
I was
happened.
there. I remember. That's not what. No one told me that.
Your parents are gaslighting you
No,
about your
I
little
was there.
league career.
No,
Like,
because
yeah, you hit the game-winning hit, not Miguel, who's 27 years
No,
old.
because my dad wasn't even there, dude. so how's my dad getting gaslight me? My dad wasn't even there to see it. I told my dad about it, bro.
Yeah, you're talking about your dads when you know like half the people on this podcast have daddy issues.
Okay, well, my dad wasn't there.
Half
And
is
I
that just you?
You as well, Michael. Let's be real.
You can't have issues with
You
someone
have-
you don't know. I don't have beef with stranger.
you have unresolved daddy issues. I have very real daddy issues.
And I also know that happened because I went to school with the kids who were on my team, and like 3 years later, I was talking to one of my friends about that moment, and he was like, "Oh, I remember that." And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that none of us wanted you to be up to bat, and we all thought you were gonna blow it, but you came through." So I mean, look at that. Daniel, shout out to Daniel. That's who told me that. Who's a pretty good player on the team.
What's their last name so we can fact check them?
This isn't the only time you've been told from someone you've known in high school reinterpretation of things that you remember.
No, what? What do you bring up? What do you bring up?
You were hit up by a girl on Tinder one time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, they knew each other. But that girl actually follows me on Instagram now, so I can't release this. I can't release this clip. One time I matched with this girl on Tinder. Oh, she's gonna unfollow me. So
Just beep everything out about this moment.
I haven't messaged her yet. But I did the strategic like, and then she followed me back. So. But anyway, yeah. About a couple years ago, this girl messaged me on Tinder, and we had like a bunch of mutual friends from my middle school. And I'm not like, I didn't like grow up like, I don't have friends from like when I was a kid because I went to a different high school than my middle school. So it was weird that we had mutual friends from middle school. I didn't remember her, and I was gonna message her and be like, "Oh, like, did we go? Like, why do we have mutual? Did you go to high school with them or something?" And she just hits me with, "You were my 8th grade bully." So, needless to say, did not respond to her after that.
I just think it's crazy that you were in a position to bully people.
I almost got in a fight one time in middle school.
The lunch ladies.
Well, we did fit checks. Who's the drippiest today?
Me.
No, dude. It's me.
You say it's definitely me. My shirt is signed
Okay, it's
by
definitely not
Mark.
Kline.
My shirt is signed by Marcus Smart.
That
back
makes
off
it worse.
haters.
Come on.
Marcus Smart was first team all defense 2019-2020, so I think that is pretty drippy.
The Joker, I feel like would have been first team all defense if he was given the opportunity.
I can tell you right now that it's got to be between Kline or Mike because
Whoa!
They
it's definitely
they
not.
took the
This is
extra
getting cut
dedic-
out. This is getting cut out.
They took the extra dedication to
No.
dress specifically Boston and Irish.
This is
not
getting
just,
cut out.
Did your high school have a reunion yet or upcoming? Do you think? Would you go?
Oh, definitely. I wasn't invited if they did have it. But I don't think that we did have one. We didn't have a 5-year, but we might have a 10-year, I assume, in a couple years.
I feel like the 5-year doesn't make sense, and I'm not saying that as someone who was supposed to plan the.
Oh yeah, you were the
5 year as a
Oh
class.
yeah.
Would Kline go to your if you guys had a high school reunion? Would Kline go
Probably.
to
He
it?
has a lot of like unresolved like.
I have a lot
Beefs.
of unresolved trauma from when I was in high school. I was the one who everyone thought wasn't going to graduate.
Isn't it crazy that you guys are friends and like I guess it seems like everyone hated
Mike is my
Kline
friend by
and Mike was the
association.
president.
Yeah.
He just kind of like stuck around. One of my first memories of Kline, I've known him for like, we've known each other for like 12, 13 years.
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah, I remember when I knew you
Here we
when
go.
we were 12
Here
or
we go.
13. I really just wanted to fight you. I just
Mike
really thought
wanted
you
to
were
fight me
annoying.
so bad because the thing about me is like I kind of like I can admit the fact that I was extremely annoying. I still am extremely annoying, but it was even worse when I was in middle and high school, especially early
imagine.
high school. People made fun of me a lot, including Mike.
I didn't make fun of you that much. I did.
I was about to say, you sure?
I
See,
definitely made
I mean,
fun
do you
of
want to go
Kline.
back to the text messages that Kline sent you to when you were like, you can be on the
I
podcast?
sent him. He said, you can make fun of me.
The thing about Mike is in Mike's defense of bullying me a lot was a lot of people bullied me behind my back. Mike never bullied me behind my back. He bullied me to my face.
That's admirable.
In terms of like the situation, I would much rather someone bully me to my face than like on Twitter
I
or
stopped
MySpace.
people from bullying you.
He did. He
You
did
got bullied
defend
on
me a lot.
MySpace?
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
We're really
Jesus.
aging ourselves.
Watching this thing, and there was like this like TikToker, and they were doing like a young old thing, and they showed Tom from MySpace, and the kid did not know who he was,
Oh no.
and I was like, oh no.
Do you think
I'm
like Gen
old.
Zs even know what like Vine is? Like, are we that old?
I mean, I don't think my little sister knows. She's like 13. I don't think she knows what Vine is.
Vine walked so TikTok could run.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I think if I sent this to my grandmother, she would listen, but I think she wouldn't like it a lot. Like she wouldn't be.
Would your
She'd listen?
grandmother?
supportive. I think she would listen to it just because she like by force loves me, not by choice.
Can we get her up to a $15 a month patron?
I think that would be elder abuse. I don't think you should like exploit your grandmother's like Alzheimer's.
Dude, my grandma can't listen to this. But she doesn't understand English, dude.
I was just about to say, can we get a translator?
We like to play a game on this show with all our guests called "Who's the most famous person in your phone?" So we've gone over it before.
Yeah.
Mike's was a writer in England. Jack has some podcaster, comedian,
not-
LA people.
We're not disclosing that.
Yeah, just look up #1 Patreon. Kline. Oh, me. I went to high school with the kid who made the, you know, the Vine that, you know, the Vine that's like, hey, what's up? I'm Jared. I'm 19. And I never learned how to read.
Yeah, I know that.
I went
Vine.
to the high school with that kid. So
So you have his number?
yeah.
Okay, so when
why is
I
he-
was a senior at Emerson College, shout out to the Lions.
Shout out Emerson. Of
Shout out
course,
to
we
the
shout them
Lions.
out this is produced by Emerson.
I interned at TMZ in LA.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so I have a couple of the guys who are on from TMZ in
Harvey?
my phone contact. Not Harvey, who I did meet Harvey. And like the crazy thing about it is Harvey, out of everyone that works there, was surprisingly one of the nicest people. When he is notorious for just being a complete and total jackass, he was really nice to me. But the couple of the guys from the sports team that I worked with, Van Lathan, who now works for The Ringer, and Mike Babcock, who is still on TMZ. He's the senior producer for the sports segment. But those two guys actually, like a year ago, got into a fight off camera, and one of them got fired. So
Probably the wrong at the Ringer.
the one at The Ringer, Van Lathan, got fired from TMZ.
Okay.
Because
Is this public or are we dropping this, Kline?
no, this is all public information. There's
Okay,
news articles
cool.
about all. This is not like hidden
Less
information.
interest.
Here's the tea.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Now we're getting somewhere. The executive producer of the sports segment, his name's Evan. He was an asshole. and he was, notoriously known for
Evan?
being an asshole. Evan Rosenblum is his name. He's
His LinkedIn can be found in the description of this episode.
the thing was, is the crazy thing.
Don't dox this guy, man.
The guy was a dick. No. You guys can look it up after. We can link it in the podcast link. There was this article in 2012 that was a very damning article about TMZ that talked about like misconduct at TMZ and being a toxic work
that's
environment.
Why you wanted to work there, yeah?
I didn't know about it
said.
before I applied for this internship. Like he had no desire to have interns there. Like he thought like I was just wasting his time. I'd be like, "Hey Evan, do you like need anything? Do you need like coffee or do you need anything?" And he just like I think at one point he's like, "No, just leave me alone." Like what's the point of having interns for the sports department and you're the head of the sports department if you don't want me to do anything for you?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can work that out in therapy or something. So let's talk. Okay, so Kline actually came on the program to promote something. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about it?
James reviews brews whenever I go to like breweries on the weekend or like I buy craft beer at like the. Yes, I am vaccinated.
Socially distanced.
I do outdoor socially distance. I go to breweries, beers, and I just like to like give my opinion on them. And apparently, just like the small sample size of my Instagram followers enjoy my reviews. Like, I think I don't have
They
that.
enjoy them so much they want him to put them on a different.
Yes, I took a poll.
You're like, do you want me to keep posting them here, or do you want me to get a whole new Instagram? And you're
I
like,
think
they
it
love
was-
it so much they want me to put on a different Instagram.
I think it was secretly their way of me getting to just do it on a completely different site that they're not going to follow. But people like would respond to my stories about like the breweries that I went to all the time. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I start
This is my
a beer review
yeah, it was like
Instagram? This is my
calling,
calling. Like
There you
I'm
go.
already taking in all these calories and gaining a bunch of weight. I might as well, at least attempt to monetize it.
What are some of the responses you'd get? Were they like concerned? Were they like, "Why are you doing this? My grandmother died of COVID, you monster."
The thing
You're,
was
like, in
is
the brewery.
all the breweries that I went to were outdoors and social distanced. If I'm able to monetize it, I would do it till it kills me. But if I'm not able to monetize it, see, my plan is I recently got engaged, and when we set a date for the wedding,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Congrats. Mazel tov.
When we are able to set a date for this wedding, because we're waiting until hopefully COVID gets extremely better.
The
to
beer
set a
thing,
date.
not waiting, but
The beer thing is not waiting, but setting a date for the wedding is
so,
when
so you want to make money for the wedding?
I'm going
With
to
this
go.
TikTok?
I'm going
your
to
plan?
No, this is what I was trying to say. My plan is I'm going to go on a diet and exercise regimen once we set a date, so that I can lose weight for the wedding. But right now, I'm just freeballing it.
Are you gonna jog to each brewery instead of just driving over? Is that your workout plan?
I think in terms of me, not drinking and driving, that's not a terrible idea.
Is that something you normally do?
No, I don't jog.
You heard it here first, folks.
All right.
All right. This will be placed on James's LinkedIn profile for any future employers looking for it.
I had a bunch of different like odd jobs at the beginning of the pandemic, and two of them just to pay my bills were Chick-fil-A and Amazon warehouse, and neither of those were great.
At the beginning of the pandemic, I almost had to get a job at Ralph's, actually.
thank God.
Who swooped in and
I
saved
could have
you?
been. I was
Honestly,
almost
thank
an
God.
essential worker.
I went in to interview with the manager of the Ralph's, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this Corona stuff." He like didn't care about it. He shook my hand at the end of the interview, and I was like, "Okay."
Gave you a peck on the cheek.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about all this.
Either way, none of this is going in the podcast. Just thought I would share. But like for real, don't put this in the podcast. We used to have parties at the dunes all the time.
I remember going to one of those parties over there and watching someone try to rip the door off of an abandoned truck. Like there was an abandoned pickup
there
truck.
used to
The
be,
tires
like,
were slashed.
There used to just be abandoned cars, abandoned couches, just like furniture and shit like that. It was like basically like a dumping ground for just random shit. And whenever like a bunch of hooligans would have a party, we would just set all the shit on fire.
I never did that, Mom. But I did watch a 17-year-old, like 18-year-old, almost rip the door clean off of a pickup truck after just smashing out its windshield with his bare hand.
Who was it?
Do you remember JH? Wrestler?
Wait, smash a window?
With his bare hands. He punched the windshield out with his bare hands and then
I know exactly
almost
who
ripped
he's
the door
talking
off of the pickup truck immediately.
Like he was trying to attack it?
He was just drunk, and
He
someone
was
was
just a
like, someone was
drunk
like, "Do you
idiot."
think I can rip the door off of this?" And my instant reaction was like, "Yes." Like I told him, "Yes."
He enabled him
You were
to
the one
rip
that
the
made
door
him
off.
do it.
Allegedly.
Dude.
He spends like 10 minutes and he's rocking this car back and forth. Some people are sitting inside because they're too drunk to watch from the outside. So they're sitting inside the car.
Inside the
broken
car?
glass, broken windshield, glass in the car. And he's rocking this car so fucking hard. If you've ever seen like protest videos of multiple people rocking a car, he's rocking it like with the same like viciousness and like ferocity of just like an entire mob of people at like
He was a big
17
kid.
years old.
He was a big kid. He was like
Jesus.
the third ranked wrestler in the entire state of Massachusetts.
It's so funny. He was built different for sure. That motherfucker almost ripped that door off. It was awesome, honestly.
It was sick.
Pretty cool.
You know,
It's
I
so
lost
funny.
my virginity at a party that happened at that field.
Same.
Not in the field. I didn't lose my virginity in the field.
That
I
night.
lost my virginity after a party that happened in that field. Like I
Wow.
was talking to this girl. It was actually kind of a funny story. It was like this girl, she didn't like have anything to drink, and I had something to drink, and she wanted my drink. And her friend
I
was
see.
like,
okay. I was like, Jesus. Kline, you said that you worked at Chick-fil-A at the beginning of this pandemic?
"Yeah, I hate the
food
gays."
podcast. A food podcast. It's a fucking food podcast. Once again.
No, I want to see. So you worked during COVID?
Yeah, I was. It was horrible. It was a
So you
terrible
had
job.
so you guys had like the cow masks?
No, they did have the cow mask, but you had to buy them. Like if you, as an employee, wanted to wear a cow mask, you had to pay for it. They
How
just
much?
get. It was like $5. I wasn't going to pay for a cow mask. I had no intention of staying for this job any longer than the amount of time it took me to get a real job.
A
This
real
was a
job?
job specifically
What's
for
that?
me
What do
to
you
pay
mean by
for my
that?
bills.
What do you mean by
Kline.
I mean that I had no desire to work for Chick-fil-A because I had a bachelor's degree.
No, I remember. Okay. This is not true. I remember Kline saying, "You know what? I might be able to make some money if I move my way up. Within
was a
a
joke.
year,
That was a
I could own my own Chick-fil-A."
I did not say within
He
a
used
year.
to say this. He used to say this to our friend Steve and I.
Anyway, do you still have a plug to get those masks? I'm only in it for the masks. I
No,
really want one of those
basically-
cow masks. I matched with this girl on Tinder. She's 24, as I am, and she was a manager at Chick-fil-A. Was her job. And I asked, my first message to her was, I was like, "Can you get me one of those sick cow masks?" And then she just said no. She said those are for employees only.
Yeah, and you have to pay for them as an employee. It was ridiculous.
But she's an employee. She can't buy me one.
She could have bought you one, but she would have to pay full price for it.
I
And the-
Venmo her, Kline.
yeah, you could have done that, but
Do
basically,
you
yeah.
have the do you
I
have
got
the Chick-fil-A
bamboozled.
mask plug still? I
don't talk to anyone from that Chick-fil-A anymore. It was a horrible place
Time
to
to
work.
go back.
So the thing about it is everyone that worked there was either a 16-year-old kid or an immigrant. So they were afraid to speak up to like the abusive practices that the managers were
And you
doing
just
to
left
them.
You had all the power.
I
as,
should have
as
left.
a
I should
smart,
have.
college-educated, 23-year-old white man. You had all the power to.
I should have tried to
stand up and
I should
save
have
these
unionized
immigrants
them.
and 16-year-olds, and you just left them.
I did. I should have tried to unionize them, but I
But
just.
then would have gotten mad at you for
Yeah.
trying to make a union. Huh?
All right, we're gonna dox that. Wait, Mike, didn't you used to have a friend who was like involved in the mafia or whatever that you hung up with?
No.
What was it?
No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't know anyone that does crime, nor do I know anyone that stops crime. I'm a neutral party. I'm neutral. I'm net neutral on crime.
You know my mom.
Fuck.
Mike,
I know
my
like
mom,
one.
My
I
mom
know
stops
one
crime.
cop.
Just to clarify, my mom doesn't do crime.
I'm not like friends with your mom.
Oh,
I'm like
okay.
friendly with your mom. Are you friends with your friends' moms?
I think I'm friends with Kathleen.
Mike,
We're on a first name basis.
I love you, mom.
What's the lowest amount you can ask for someone to Venmo you?
Mike requested me one time for a quarter.
I needed to do laundry.